Good morning, class 10. Welcome back to the online session of SST. And in this session, we are going to discuss about food security. Okay. Now, the topic is very important for us because we live in an agricultural nation, and being the second most populated country in the world, it is very important for us. Okay. Now, I would like to tell you that the lecture on this topic might be longer, so we'll be having more than two videos on a particular topic. Okay, so let us understand this. What is a food security? When we talk about food security means to stock the food and ensure the food which should be available for all. Okay, now it means that the food should be stocked and it should be available for every citizens of India. Okay, this is the main motive to have a food security in our country. Okay, now let us understand why food security. The first reason is that our country is the second most population country in the world, and the population is growing day by day. Okay, so there must be a food security. That is the first reason. Let us understand. Okay, food security is required because with the growing population, the food grains will not be available to all because the land is limited and the population is growing day by day. So the land which yields the crop, okay, must be sufficient to everyone, and if the population is growing, obviously there will be a deficit of the food grain. Okay, which means that the food will be insufficient. Okay, will not be sufficient for all, and the people will not get a good nutritional value. If the food crop is less and the population is more, the food will be distributed among the people. Some will get more if they have got lots of money, obviously they will be enjoying the life in a different way, but there are some poor section in our society who will not be able to buy those crops. Okay, who will not be able to get the good amount of food. Okay, so their nutritional value will be very less. Okay, if that generation of the people will not get the required nutrition, they will not be healthy. They might not be healthy because if they don't eat the proper diet, they will not be healthy. Now, what will happen? If it is so that the citizens of India will have a health problem and they cannot contribute towards the development of nation, therefore the food security is required. Our country is a nation who looks after each and every individual with an equal side. Okay, that means every citizens of India is equal in the name of God, in the name of the government. Okay, so the government looks equally to every citizen. Okay, and the government believes that each and every citizen of our country should get good food to eat. Okay, that is why food security is required. At least they should get a minimum requirement of nutritional value. Okay, so this is the main motive of food security in our country. Okay, now let us understand the next point. Now there are some other reasons also behind the food security. Let us understand those reasons also. Okay, in a country like India, the number of people who does not have a food security is disproportionately large in some of the regions of our country. Okay, particularly in economically less developed states with high incidence of poverty. There are some states in our country where the economic development is very less, maybe because of their geographical location. Okay, there are some states which are located in the hilly region, and there are some states which are in the desert region. So especially in these kind of areas, the economic activity will be very less because the desert region is very hot, and due to sand, the agricultural activity cannot be done, and some other activities which they want to do also due to high temperature they cannot perform throughout the year. Okay, but they will perform, but the economic activity will be very less. Okay, and in the hilly region where the terrain is rugged, okay, there also economic activity cannot be performed because of the rugged structure. Okay, so these are the reasons, and there are some states which locates in the flood prone region. That means the agricultural land will be destroyed, so their cropping will be destroyed, and some of the farmers which they depend upon the subsistence type of farming, their crops will be destroyed. So this is the reason. Okay, and let us see another part. The remote areas of our country are more prone to natural disaster, as I said just now. Okay, and uncertain food supply. Now these are the places. Remote area means which is away from the metropolis. Okay, which do not have a good network of transportation also. So those regions, just imagine the region where the transportation is also very poor, the economic activity will obviously be very less. Okay, now let us understand with the help of some example. Like recent days you might have seen in the news that some of the region of Odisha, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat are drawn due to the flood. Okay, so the crops are destroyed. In this time, you'll find that they have lost their crop, and some of the farmers they have lose their houses, okay, and they are living on the road. So who will provide them food? So at this time the food security is important. The government has stocked the food and they will provide the food to these people, okay, but they have already lose their agricultural land till the flood is there, so they cannot do the cropping, okay. So this is the reason why some of the farmer are getting poorer and poorer, because they do not have the source of income, okay. So this is also the reason why we have to take the step towards the food security in our country, okay. Students, in a country like India, the importance of food security is very high and the government has to do something about it. So let us see what government has done or played an important role in the food security, okay. Now let us understand this. In order to ensure the availability of food to all sections of society, our government has carefully designed a national food security system, okay. National food security system has got two important components, okay. The first one is your buffer stock, another one is your public distribution system. We also call it PDS, okay, public distribution system. Now firstly let us understand buffer stock. The government has made buffer stock. Let us see what it is, okay. It is a stock of food grain. When we talk about buffer stock, it is actually a stock of food grain and there is a system to do this also, okay. We will be discussing later on further, okay, about it. If there is any scarcity of food in our country at any place of a state, the stock food grain is used. Okay, for example, Punjab and Haryana is having the huge number of food grains this year. Okay, and at the same time, there are some states which are having very less. For example, Rajasthan is there, and some region of Odisha is there where the food crop does not grow well. Okay, so from the buffer stock only the food grains are sent to those states so that everyone will get the food grains to eat, okay. Now let us understand public distribution system, okay. It is a system, okay, and it is a program which is developed by a country, okay, to provide food grains and other essential commodities at a subsidized price in rural and urban areas, okay. The best example for this I would like to make it clear, okay. You might have heard about the ration card, okay. The ration card is provided to every citizens of our country, and through that ration card they will get the food grains at a subsidized rate. Besides the food grains, they will also get other essential commodities, like these days the government is providing the pulses and some other things like mustard oil, the kerosene oil, okay. These are the things which they are providing, okay. Especially the kerosene oil and some grains are provided to the people, okay, including sugar. So you might have already known about it, okay. So let us understand another point. India's food security policy has a prime objective to ensure the availability of food grains to the common people at affordable price, okay. It has enabled the poor to have access to food, okay. The main objective or the primary objective of our country is to provide the food grains to the common people, okay, to the poor people also at a very affordable price, okay. The focus of the policy is on growth of agricultural production and fixation of the support price for procurement of wheat and rice to maintain the stock, okay. Why only wheat and rice? Because it is the staple diet of our country, okay. Now the government policies mainly focus on the growth of agricultural production because our population is growing day by day, and because of some of the natural calamities also sometimes the crop gets destroyed, and at that time also the food security will play a major role. That is why this policy mainly focus on the growth of agricultural production. Now we know that most of the states which falls in the northern plains are mainly focusing on the agricultural production because it is having a fertile land, okay. So whatever agricultural production is there, the government always focuses on fixing the minimum support price to the farmers out there, okay. Why? To procure the wheat and rice from them and to maintain the stock. The main story behind is this, that When the crops are grown, sometimes the yield will be very high. In the state like Punjab and Haryana, the people mostly grow wheat, okay, and rice, and the production is very high. At that time, the government asks them to grow more crops on top of that also, okay, and whatever extra crop is there, after satisfying the demand of their state, whatever extra crop is left, that is being taken by the government, okay, and as a minimum support price. Now, what is minimum support price? At the time of sowing the seed only, the government will fix the price for the crop, whether it is destroyed or whatever amount of production will be there, but they will be getting a minimum support price for a crop. Okay. Now, let us understand this in a simple way. What is the main objective of government? First, let us understand that. The main objective of government is to have the agricultural production in a huge amount. Secondly, they want to store the food grains and have a stock. Okay, to maintain their stock, they want the grains from the farmer. Okay, so the government will approach the farmer and want the farmer to grow more crops. That is the first thing that the government wants from the farmer. Okay, the second thing is that the government will take the crops and they will maintain their stock of food grains. Okay, and in this process they will fix the minimum support price to procure the wheat and rice from the farmer. Okay, now let us see this, understand this with the help of our example. Suppose I am a farmer, okay, and I have got a huge plot of land and I grow a crop. Okay, now the government will approach me and say me that you have to grow more crops, and in return the government will give me some subsidy on power supply, irrigation and fertilizer. Okay, these things I require for the cultivation of crop, and the government will give me subsidy on this, and in return the government will take my crop at a minimum support price which is fixed by the government before I do the agricultural process. Okay, so this is the relation between the government and the farmer. Okay, now let us understand another point. Food Corporation of India, that is FCI, is responsible for procuring and stocking the food grain, whereas distribution is ensured by the public distribution system. There are two things that you have to notice here. The first thing is FCI, that is Food Corporation of India. Now, the Food Corporation is of India is an organization that is responsible for procuring and stocking of food grains. That means they will maintain the food grains in the stock, okay, and they will also get these from the farmer. That is the duty of FCI, is to get the crop from the farmer at MSP, that is minimum support price, and stock in their buffer stock. That is the work of FCI, and the distribution work will be done by PDS, that is public distribution system. Okay, there is a two thing. Now in this process there are many demerits, okay, which we will be discussing later on in another session. Okay, now I'll give you some example before it. Okay, now I'll tell you what we'll be having in the next session. In next session we'll be understanding because of this subsidy to the farmer, they have been using this in a huge amount, and that has degraded the land, and there was a problem created in the agricultural production. Okay, so this will be understanding in another session. Okay students, so I hope you have understood the concept. Okay, so with this I would like to take a leave from the session. You all take care, stay safe. Thank you.